tonight. A look at Regina's new permanent emergency shelter. Charges are laid against the subject of a dangerous person alert and calls for transparency over the resignation of a Saskatchewan Marshal.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
After months of planning and deliberations, Regina's new permanent emergency shelter will go into operation next week. The 50-bed facility will offer wraparound services to a growing number of homeless people in the city. Wayne Mantica gives us a look.
It's called the New Beginning Shelter, with wraparound services for a fresh start. An official opening ceremony was held today.
It offers not just a shelter, but connection. 3 meals a day, access to wellness and cultural supports, case planning, and the kind of care that helps people truly begin again.
The 50-bed shelter replaces a temporary facility in the former YMCA building downtown. All the programs there are moving over to the new facility.
Not only are folks having a safe place to stay, but that cultural component and the addictions awareness and culture link program to work alongside the shelter. So in essence, I think today just represents a milestone from being in a temporary operation to permanent operations.
The $6.8 million shelter is funded by the 3 levels of government. It was built in a record time of just 18 weeks, but was met with some resistance from neighboring businesses. Discussions will be ongoing to make certain any concerns are addressed.
That's not a one and done type of thing. The expectation from all parties involved is that everybody will be consistently communicating to make sure that if challenges arise, we have a mechanism to handle that.
The 50-bed shelter is the same size as the facility that it is replacing. There is no time limit as to how long people can live here, but the goal is to provide services needed to help people successfully transition into the community. Wayne Mantica, CTV News, Regina.
A subject of a dangerous person alert on Thursday morning is now facing several charges, including attempted murder and uttering threats. An alert was issued around 6:30 Thursday morning after 28-year-old Elijah Albert shot and injured an RCMP officer on a Muskowhegan First Nation. Officers were there for a report of an armed man. Albert escaped but was later arrested near Lestock. Albert will make his first court appearance on July the 30th in Regina. A 19-year-old man is facing manslaughter and forcible confinement charges after an investigation into the death of a man earlier this month in Regina. Around 8 in the evening on July the 14th, officers responded to a call on the 3000 block of 4th Avenue where a man was found deceased. After an investigation by several police units, including the Major Crimes Unit, 19-year-old Bradley Gardner was charged. Gardner was making his first court appearance this morning in Regina. The Saskatchewan NDP are calling on Minister of Corrections, Policing and Public Safety, Tim McLeod, to release details of an investigation into a now former member of the Saskatchewan Marshal Service. Jacob Carr has those details.
In front of the Legislative Building on Friday morning, NDP MLA Nicole Sarr called on the Sask Party minister responsible for the Marshal Service, Tim McLeod, to release the report conducted by the Public Complaints Commission into one of the officers with the Marshal Service. In April, the Marshal Service confirmed to CTV News that one of its members had been placed on administrative leave after a complaint was submitted to the PCC. The service did not disclose when the complaint was received or when the decision was made to put its member on leave. The complaint led to an investigation, which is now complete.
In this instance, the Marshal's Service and Minister McLeod has refused to release any information at all. I think it's in the public interest that this information be made open. Minister McLeod needs to rebuild trust within this new Marshal Service with the public, and he can do that by being open and transparent and releasing the report.
In an emailed statement, the provincial government said the complaint has been completed and provided to the Marshal Service for their review and action in accordance to the Police Act, adding the Minister of Corrections, Policing and Public Safety does not direct the day-to-day operations of the Saskatchewan Marshal Service. It goes on to say the PCC is an independent civilian-led body which does not issue public reports at the end of its investigations, and that it's standard practice for the PCC to to provide internal investigation reports to the relevant police agency to carry out any disciplinary measures or public reporting. When asked to comment on the matter, the Saskatchewan Marshal Service said that the officer in question chose to voluntarily resign from the service and that no further details would be provided due to privacy and personal matters. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
A man who owns the so-called Queen of Canada's compound in Richmond has been arrested. 61-year-old Ricky Mans has been charged with assaulting 2 police officers as well as assault, resisting arrest, and uttering threats. Mans is the owner of the former village school, which has housed Romana Didulo's Kingdom of Canada group for nearly 2 years. Now, earlier this month, the village office closed its doors to the public outside prearranged appointments, citing harassment and intimidation towards their staff. Mans is scheduled to make a court appearance on September the 18th. The province is warning about a scam that's using the Prime Minister's image to target Saskatchewan people. The Financial and Consumer Affairs Authority says fake social media posts claiming Mark Carney is endorsing an online investment platform called Quill Capital are making their rounds. The FCAA says quillcapital.com claims to offer Saskatchewan residents trading opportunities, including stocks, cryptocurrencies, and other commodities. Quill Capital is not registered to trade or sell securities or derivatives in Saskatchewan. People are advised to always verify their investments and seek professional advice before you invest your money. Now, as Saskatchewan summers become hazier with the wildfires burning across the prairies, more people are turning to central air conditioning and other methods to keep their homes smoke-free. Keenan Sorokon has more on how you can improve the air quality inside your home.
It's not just the heat that has people calling for air conditioners.
We have been incredibly busy.
Michael Shaw with Centennial Plumbing, Heating and Electrical says more people are looking for a break from the smoke during wildfire season, and air conditioners and purification systems have become popular this summer. Respirologist Brianne Filipenko says very small particulate matter is the main concern of wildfire smoke, and staying indoors and keeping your windows shut is the best way to avoid it.
The reason why it's particularly harmful is because it's so small, can settle deep in the lungs and cause inflammation and damage in the lungs. Because of that.
With more windows staying shut during hot days, Shaw says air conditioning alone isn't enough. A HEPA filter will get at the smallest particles and help keep the smoke outside.
It's a whole home system that, as your furnace is cycling, as your air conditioning is running, it'll filter the air that comes from all the different areas of your house.
Filipenko says air quality sensors are available for purchase to keep a close eye on indoor air quality. Standalone air purifiers are another option. Regularly maintaining your air conditioner will also help keep things running smoothly, as will replacing furnace filters.
Air conditioners are a little bit finicky, and it will continue to run, just not at peak efficiency.
Shaw says to keep your humidifier off in the summer to avoid overworking your air conditioner. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Stewart's filling in for Sabine in our weather center tonight. And yeah, the air conditioners were probably rolling a lot today, Angela. Quite the hot one in southern Saskatchewan.
Yeah, absolutely, Lee. Our daytime expected high was around 31 degrees. We actually reached a high of 32. So definitely a very warm one today. And beyond that, clear skies we saw in Regina really throughout the day. But as you can see on your screen there, we've had some watches and warnings really pop up in part of the province, bringing with it a little bit of rain, definitely sticking primarily for the southeast part of the province there, you can see. And that's only going to continue. Starting for Saturday, Sunday, we will see more active weather in the form of rain making its way throughout the province. It's not going to be a consistent system, really just staying there. It's going to be sporadic throughout the next 2 days. So keep that in mind. That'll be welcome news and will hopefully cool things off quite a bit. But like I said, expected high was 31 today. We reached a high of 32. We've, I guess you could say, cooled down to about 30 degrees. So we are much warmer in the south part of the province. But nonetheless, it was a great day and it's going to continue. But I'll have more details coming up. Lee?
All right, thanks, Angela. No chance of a smoke delay tonight as the Riders play host to the Edmonton Elks at Mosaic Stadium with a chance for the Green and White to take over first place in the CFL's West Division. With more, we go live to Donovan Mace on the concourse at Mosaic Stadium. Donovan?
Yeah, Yeah, Lee, I mean, the weather, it is one hot night here on a Friday with two teams going in very different directions in the CFL. Edmonton near the bottom of the West Division standings, and for Saskatchewan looking to get back in first place. Now, when a team like Saskatchewan is 5-1, it's hard to not talk about the play of the quarterback, and it's even harder when Trevor Harris is having the best start to his career. Already this season, he's thrown for over 1,600 yards, and he's had multiple TD pass games 3 times. But when you talk to him, he's not so much focused on himself, because he truly believes that this team can do something much greater than one person can. But at the same time, even though he's in maybe the most outstanding player conversation early this season, he hopes what he's done to this point isn't his peak.
I think I've played some good football in my career, but I don't really pay too much attention to it. At the end of the last year, I thought my best football was ahead of me, so I hope it's true. Hope it continues to be true, and I think it is, to be honest. I think we've got another level, and we've just got to keep demanding more out of each other.
As long as he's moving the offense efficiently, which is important to him, it's important to us, that's all we care about, man, and he's doing that. So whether he's the best or not, certainly, you know, those things are talked about at the end of the season.
Now in front of Trevor Harris tonight, the offensive line will start yet another new player. It was revealed earlier this week Zach Fry was in a motor vehicle accident, and while he was checked and cleared from hospital, when he returned to practice, something wasn't right. So he's out with a concussion, and Langenburg, Saskatchewan's Noah Zur will draw in Fry's place. And for the offensive line, they've actually now started more players than they have sacks allowed, which is a good sign, because the team that they're going up against, not very strong when it comes to getting to the opposing quarterback. Edmonton has just 3 sacks so far this season, but at the same time, they can pose maybe a sneakier challenge for these Riders tonight. So at the same time, the team is hoping to maybe close out games a little bit more strongly. In their 5 games, they've allowed their opponents to stay in the ball game. And even if you look at last week at BC, the Lions scored the last 14 points of the ball game to make that score more respectable. So head coach Corey Mace would like to see maybe more of a killer instinct out of his team tonight. And then on the Elks side as well, it'll be interesting to see how Trey Ford does tonight, and not so much how he does, but how often he gets into the ball game and sees snaps. And then for Cody Fajardo making his first start back on Mosaic 6, being a Rider, and he called Saskatchewan a special place in his heart, but he's hoping to play Grinch on Christmas night here at Mosaic, and fans here hoping that there's a Rider W under the tree.
Yeah, shocking that Cody Fajardo's never started against the Riders. He played against them before he joined them as a short yardage guy, but this will be his first start. We'll see what he does. Thank you, Don. Now, the Saskatchewan Roughriders hosted the Pure Later Tackle Hunger Game Day food drive this afternoon. Fans asked to bring donations in support of the Regina Food Bank. In return for the donation, fans could take a photo with the Grey Cup. Last year's game raised more than 29,000 pounds of food for the Regina Food Bank. Plenty of people hitting the links today around Saskatchewan, but only one man was hitting 100. Not on his scorecard, it's his age. Mick Fable tees up a milestone celebration on the golf course.
It's a common routine for Elvin Mitchell, 2 practice swings before making contact. Spending some time on the green has been a daily tradition for years, but this is the first time he's teeing off as a 100-year-old.
I like the game, and I got something to do. It was better than sitting home and watching TV. It's just beautiful out here in the sunshine, and yeah.
Mitchell has been a regular at the Thompson Lake golf course for decades. To mark the special occasion, the club threw a party for one of its favorite members, gifting him some special perks at the club.
Always needs a golf glove, so we threw that in. But he also has a lifetime membership. Hopefully he gets to use it for many more years. Lifetime membership for the golfing, his golf cart, and he keeps his golf cart in a shed over on the other side.
For his birthday round, Mitchell was joined by his regular group, working their way through 9 holes. Mitchell hit well, even against a slight wind. His family says the game has been a great addition to his life.
I think it gave him a purpose. He's worked hard all his life, a farmer, rancher, and he started later when he was about 45, and it's just been a passion for him.
For Mitchell, cake, friends, and a round of golf was the perfect way to mark the special day.
Oh, that's amazing. It's amazing. I wouldn't expect to see so many people. I really enjoy it. I really appreciate it.
Mick Fable, CTV News, Thompson Lake Regional Park.
What can you say? The man can still putt. For those in Yorkton looking to have some fun at the Gallagher Center's water park, you'll soon be out of luck. Starting on Monday, the park will be closed for more than 2 months to perform shutdown maintenance. Regina Declout has the details.
As Yorktonians go on their summer vacations, one of the city's landmarks is also taking a well-deserved break.
Yeah, on Monday we'll begin draining the pools here early in the morning, and then we'll get into the thick of the project here.
In addition to biannual maintenance, the pool is getting some updates behind the scenes.
The current filtration system was installed, I believe, in 2004, so we've gotten just over 20 years of life out of it, and we're now upgrading from what was an ozone filtration system to an ultraviolet, a UV filtration system, and hoping to get another 20-25 years off of that.
Boliski says the new UV system will deliver a cleaner environment and is easier to maintain than the current ozone setup.
Other aquatic centers in the province and in the country are sort of moving away from that system just due to the the difficulty in sourcing parts and maintaining the system.
Mayor Kinley considers this one of the bigger projects when it comes to maintenance of a facility.
So my understanding that the replacement, I guess, of the ozone to the ultraviolet is just over $1 million, 1.1 million, and then the rest of the renovation that's happening is bringing it up to about $1.5 million.
Boliski encourages everyone to visit Yorkton's Shape Your City website,
which includes information on all city projects that are ongoing and have been completed as well. That's the best place to go. We try to post weekly updates on there, what's going on, with pictures that people can kind of see those behind-the-scenes areas that they normally wouldn't see.
The water park reopens in October, just in time for indoor pool season to kick into high gear. Regina Declout, CTV News, Yorkton.
Coming up, U.S. President Donald Trump isn't optimistic about a Canadian trade deal by August the 1st, and 3 miners trapped underground in B.C. have been rescued. Well, first it was July 21st. Then the date for a trade deal with the U.S. was moved to August 1st. Now U.S. President Donald Trump says a final deal may not happen at all, making tariffs an unavoidable reality for the Canadian economy. CTV's Abigail Bimman has more on where Canada goes from here.
U.S. President Donald Trump says most trade deals will be finished by August 1st. But as for us,
we haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs, not really a negotiation.
Hot on the heels of senior Canadians declaring progress and encouragement after D.C. meetings.
I had a productive, cordial discussion meeting with Secretary Lutnick.
We don't have a deal with Canada. We haven't been focused on it.
It looks like we're trying to negotiate with the guy at the reception desk. Commerce Secretary Lutnick's not going to make decisions.
Ottawa has certainly been focused on Washington.
I hope the Prime Minister and the government will start doing is being a little bit more forceful in putting out exactly what we're going to do in terms of preparing workers who are going to be affected.
The hit is starting to be material and financial in nature.
The Canadian Chamber of Commerce says the months of uncertainty are toxic for business.
It's not going to go away on August 1st, even if we have a temporary deal, because we are facing a real review of CUSMA, which is the big one.
But for now, all eyes are focused on August 1st, with no one having a clear idea of what will happen before the day the president has threatened to impose 35% tariffs on all goods not covered by CUSMA. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Canada's Prime Minister calls Israel's handling of humanitarian aid in Gaza a violation of international law. Mark Carney posted a message on social media last night saying that Canada condemns the Israeli government's failure to prevent the rapidly deteriorating humanitarian disaster in Gaza. He's calling on all sides to negotiate an immediate ceasefire. Carney also reiterated the calls for Hamas to immediately release all hostages. Earlier this week, the UN Human Rights Office reported that since May, more than 1,000 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli forces trying to get food. There is relief at a remote mine in northern British Columbia. 3 workers who were trapped underground for more than 2 days have been rescued after they followed safety protocols.
Thank you to them that has actually just did what they were trained to do. The protocols, when there's an emergency, is go there, we'll communicate and we'll get you out of that. And they did that for 60 hours. So hats off to the 3 gentlemen. I mean, they did a wonderful job, and therefore we could have taken them out, and they are safe this morning.
The operator of the Red Chris mine says the 3 men were safely brought to the surface late last night. They were trapped underground by 2 rock falls on Tuesday morning. All 3 huddled in that refuge chamber where they had access to food, water, and air. The rescue operation involves droned, a remote-controlled scoop that also cleared away the rock fall. Reaction still pouring in after all 5 former junior hockey players were acquitted in a high-profile sexual assault trial. The story captured national headlines, putting a focus on hockey culture and the meaning of consent. CTV's Adrian Gobriel spoke with a sexual assault victim who is now speaking to young hockey players about her experience.
A verdict delivered, a sports culture remains in the spotlight.
They found me lying on a floor in the bathroom, unconscious.
Kathleen LaRoche was 23 years old when she believed she was drugged and then eventually sexually assaulted in 2015 by a major junior hockey player in Quebec, who she says would go on to have a successful NHL career.
I called him. They found me unconscious. What happened? He said, just the only thing is I'm about to sign with the NHL. Please don't talk about it. So, that's what I did.
In denial for years, she suppressed the memory of what she says took place.
When Me Too wave came, my body started having anxiety symptoms, as if my body remembered, even if my head didn't want to.
As part of her personal journey and to help educate athletes, LaRoche is now working with hockey players and coaches at all levels, starting as young as 15 years old, sharing her experience and the importance of consent and self-awareness.
I want to educate people like him to protect people like me.
Author Laura Robinson wrote Crossing the Line, that examines the pervasive culture of Canada's national sport.
In my book, I have 2 guys who were convicted, actually, Jarrett Reed and Andrew Power, as they were convicted as junior players. They're both coaching right now.
Following this week's verdicts, one-time star goalie Carter Hart had his lawyer share this message.
He is committing to sharing what he has learned with others in his personal circle and in his professional life.
We need to hear what Carter Hart believes those lessons are. We have to stop acting like this, and we have to make sure that there's not a generation after us acting like this.
For LaRoche, that's her ultimate goal.
By helping them understand themselves more, they can be more conscious about their actions.
LaRoche says she's witnessed a willingness from young athletes who are eager to change the narrative, adding that she's hopeful for the next generation. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News, London, Ontario.
Investigators in Calgary releasing more CCTV images, hoping someone can identify the suspects involved in a vicious assault on an 18-year-old earlier this month. July 15th, the teen was in a SUV with his mom learning how to park when a white pickup truck pulled up and 2 men got out and tried to get into the SUV. The teen got out to protect his mom and was assaulted with a weapon. He is now recovering at home. Police say one of the men may have been wearing a mask. Investigators are asking anyone who may have information about the attack to come forward. Still ahead, blazing a trail through the Rocky Mountains, how one man is hiking every marked path in Banff National Park.
Monday on CTV Morning Live, Saskatchewan's Trade and Export Partnership has a new president. We're in conversation with incoming leader Chris Lane.
News, weather, and traffic. It's everything you need. CTV Morning Live, weekdays 6 to 9.
back. Well, we've had a great day in the Queen City today. Lots of blue skies, lots of sunshine, making for a great start to the weekend, and also a very warm start, I guess you could say, to the game kickoff in about half an hour. Roughriders versus the Edmonton Elks at Mosaic Stadium. You can see Mosaic right there on our Skycam. But nonetheless, temperatures, our expected high was about 32 degrees, or actually 31 was our expected high. We reached a high of 32. We've dropped down to about 30 degrees, so still very warm. Like I said, for kickoff, if you are heading down or are at the game. But yeah, nonetheless, we've had some watches and warnings kind of pop up in the last 3 hours, I would say, at about 3 o'clock. We weren't seeing any warnings for the province, but that has now taken effect. There is a warning that, a watch, excuse me, that's the yellow here, that has come in from Alberta. So this is a severe thunderstorm watch. And also for the southeast, you can see there, that is a warning mixed with a watch. So the red is the warning. So for the deep southeast there. Keep that in mind. That'll be a system making its way through. You can see all that green kind of coming up from the south there. So what we can expect heading into the next few days, we will see a little bit more rain. So hopefully we'll be cooling things off. That'll start really for Saturday and Sunday. The system is not going to be consistent, so it's going to be quite sporadic. So here's really where I would say the beginning of this system. Early Saturday morning, Regina will see some light rain in the north part of the province. And then that'll clear out. Yorkton, we'll see a little bit of that. We'll see some cloud coverage in the west part of the province here, touching Swift Current and Maple Creek, and to the central part of the province, just south of Saskatoon. And by Saturday evening, there is a risk of a thunderstorm for the Assiniboia area, and then more rain expected for early Sunday morning. Regina is seeing a little bit of that in the south, and then more rain to be expected about 7 a.m. on Sunday, you could say, so a risk of a thunderstorm, so keep that in mind. And that'll help to really cool things off, and then the Parkland region seeing some of that by around that 10:30 mark on Sunday there. So that system... some rain definitely is expected over the course of the weekend. And then about 12 hours later, some more rain expected for the southeast, Yorkton, Estevan area. So that's really the case over the weekend that I can tell you there. And then by Monday morning, back to work on Monday, some more rain also expected. So like I said, that'll help cool things off. Your temperatures tonight still within that average seasonal range. Double digits expected for tomorrow with sunshine throughout. We will see some that rain in parts of the province. For the central part of the province, North Battleford, 23 expected for North Battleford and Saskatoon, and then warmer conditions in Yorkton tomorrow, 27 degrees expected. For the southwest part of the province, 27 for Maple Creek and Moose Jaw, and 26 for Swift Current. A mix of sun and cloud for Swift Current and Maple Creek, sunny conditions for Moose Jaw. Over across in the southeast, 27 expected, mostly sunny for Assiniboia, and then warmer conditions expected for Estevan. There's that risk of a thunderstorm overnight, so 14 degrees expected overnight, and then 29 tomorrow, 28 for Weyburn. For us here in Regina, clear skies, winds picking up to about 40 kilometers an hour, lots of sun expected for tomorrow, 26 the expected high, and winds are going to remain fairly calm. I'm giving you a look for the next 7 days and what we can expect. So yeah, like I was talking about, that system that is expected 26, we will see a bit more rain expected for Sunday. So risk of a thunderstorm there, and then mostly cloudy conditions expected for Monday, and then temperatures and conditions remaining consistent for Tuesday, Wednesday there, 25 the expected high, warming up to 26 there on Tuesday, this time next week 25. So yeah, you can see those temperatures are remaining consistent, and those conditions, sunny or rainier conditions with cloudier conditions expected for Sunday, Monday there. But nonetheless, we will see a little bit of precipitation and then back up to warm conditions and lots of sunshine.
Consistent high temperatures as well for the next 7 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Thank you very much, Angela.
Thanks, Lee.
Well, a Canmore, Alberta hiking guide has spent the past 3 years searching for the bison herd in Banff National Park. On his quest to find the elusive animals, he ended up accomplishing another goal, hiking every marked trail in the park. Kevin Fleming has more.
He has a massive map of Banff National Park on his living room wall, and Jeff Douglas has kept track of every trail he's hiked by marking them in yellow and blue.
So mid-August to mid-September, I let my schedule as a guide be a little bit light, and if there's a 3-day or 4-day weather window, I have a very understanding wife and would see what I could accomplish during that time frame.
Douglas owns Mountain Goat Adventures and is a professional hiking guide. His wife supported his quest to hike all the trails and find the bison herd. She also made sure he was safe.
So usually at night and in the morning, Jeff will confirm via his InReach and the GPS device where he's at, if he's doing okay, if he needs anything, what his plan is for the day. So I always have an idea of the route he's taking as well, so I can track him along the way and make sure he's okay.
Parks Canada reintroduced 16 bison in the park in 2017. Since then, their numbers have grown to close to 135. They're monitored by staff who tries to make sure they stay within the park boundaries.
These bison certainly are wildlife, a lot like any other species in the park, and they're integrating into the landscape and improving the ecological integrity like we'd hoped.
This spring, on day 3 of his last 4-day hike, Douglas hit pay dirt and came across the bison.
I just sat down. I probably spent 45 minutes I didn't even pull up my phone or take my pack off. Just sat down on a rock and wanted to be present there. I've seen every animal in the park, and that was, I don't know why, that was just, it was really majestic. It was a bit emotional. The whole project came full circle, and I had an absolutely spectacular day without a cloud in the sky.
Both he and his wife are proud of his achievement in covering over 2,000 kilometers of trails in the park and hope it inspires others to explore it. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Canmore.
Coming up, how much of an offensive explosion could we see tonight between the Riders and Elks?
Wardrobe consideration in part by Colin O'Brien Men's Shop.
If you like high-scoring football, then tonight's Riders-Elks game could be for you.
7% in the red zone this season. They'll dump it off. Couture turns, trying to stay on his feet, and he does. Couture towards the end zone, and he's in.
Riders and Elks defenses have given up the most passing yards and net offense yards per game so far this season. They've also given up the most touchdowns through the air. That could be good news for Riders quarterback Trevor Harris, who has thrown 820 yards and 4 touchdowns in his last 2 games. Kickoff just after 7 o'clock on TSN. Preparations are underway for this weekend's motocross races at the track on the Muscadet First Nation. Organizers say more than 100 riders from across the prairies will participate in 11 different events Saturday through Sunday. Prince Albert Dirt Riders says his event is the final set of races in the Triple Crown series. The first 2 Triple Crown events were Nipawin and Melfort earlier this month. This will be the second event hosted by Prince Albert Dirt Riders this year.
There are lots of events going on throughout the province during the course of the summer. For us, though, we can only host 2 a year. We did the Midwest at the end of June. We're hosting ours now at the end of July. And all the riders, by the time they get here, have probably raced in several races.
Races start Saturday at 10 a.m. Well, it airs every week in the summer here on CTV. America Ninja Warrior, an athletic competition testing agility and strength. But it's not just a show. There are competitions everywhere. And as Sweeta Rassi tells us, a girl from Quebec is one of the best.
3, 2, 1, go!
She's fast, focused, and fearless. She's also just 9 years old. Justine BC Mal's journey first started with her watching Ninja Warrior on TV with her family. Little did they know a future ninja champion was right under their roof. A few years ago, her grandparents took her to a ninja center.
The owner of the gym said, wow, she's very good.
So the family put her in classes and eventually enrolled her in competitions. Last month at the World Ninja League Championships in North Carolina, she went home with 11 medals and 2 trophies. Her prizes almost outweigh her.
Yeah, c'est lourd. C'est vraiment lourd.
Despite the obvious success, Justine B remains humble. She says she could still improve. Her parents are understandably very proud, even if they don't know where she got this talent from.
No, not me.
Justine B's trainer says it's her focus that makes her special. That, he says, is one of the most important skills for a ninja.
She's very strong for this type of ninja warrior things, which she can focus only on what she have to do, and she impressed more than some of the teenagers we got here in the MST.
Next month, the family is headed to Barbados for another competition, and whether she brings home more medals to add to her already impressive collection, her mom says the sport is mostly about having fun, staying active, and proving that anyone can succeed.
Also for the girls, that they know they can do the same thing of the boys, you know.
As for Justine B, she hopes one day she gets a chance to compete on the Ninja Warrior TV show, where she was first inspired.
Warrior?
Yes, yeah. J'aimerais vraiment ça.
And with her skills, the other ninjas better be ready. Sweeta Rassi, CTV News.
Still ahead, Canadians continue to look at vacation options north of the American border.
Well, we're continuing with this story of around seasonal average temperatures for this time of year, and many areas in our rural forecast are going to be experiencing that. So depending on where you are, do expect above that 20-degree mark. Places like Meadow Lake and Lloydminster, we're going to see a little bit more cloud coverage. That's also the same for Spiritwood and Kindersley. Melfort also seeing a little bit of mix of sun and cloud there. Watchers tomorrow, mainly sunny throughout. Hudson Bay also the same. But for Wynyard, 24 degrees expected, and clear skies, lots of sunshine there expected. So not really going to be seeing any precipitation and active weather tomorrow for a majority of these areas. But as we get closer to the southern border, the story is really remaining the same. Mix of sun and cloud, really focusing on the west part of the province here, all for these areas. As you can see here, warm temperatures expected in East End Cypress, 26, 27 for Rockland, and 27 for Assiniboia tomorrow. 29, though, for Coronach, and 28 for Carlisle. So a little bit of cloud coverage in some areas, but lots of sunshine throughout. For Kerrobert tomorrow, cooler conditions, I would say, in that low 20-degree mark. 21 the expected, high winds calm at about 20 kilometers an hour.
New data shows that many Canadians are still shying away from travel to the United States. In Alberta, some feel there are better options abroad within Canada, even where you live. Nav Senga explains.
Taking a trip to our neighbors down south has become less appealing for Canadians. According to a new Statistics Canada report, return trips from the United States by Canadian citizens fell nearly 32% in May compared to last year. For some, it's because of the Canadian dollar.
I think it's mainly due to our dollar, right? The strength of it, or I guess the lack of strength.
It's too expensive to go to the States. You can't afford it.
For others, it's because of Donald Trump and the political tension between the two countries.
Trump can take his 51st state. No, we're not. It's not happening. Canada, strong. We're staying here.
It doesn't feel welcoming and safe right now, I guess.
Travel agent Megan Duncan says decreased demand has resulted in airlines reducing U.S.-bound flights.
Yeah, just overall demand for sure is affecting the airlines wanting to keep the frequency up.
The Statistics Canada report also shows more Canadians are choosing to travel overseas, with a nearly 9% increase in May.
I mean, Europe is always major in the summer. That hasn't slowed down really at all. People are still doing their big bucket list Europe summer trips.
Duncan has also noticed more people traveling within borders.
I think people are kind of shifting their quicker weekend or 5-day trips to kind of Eastern Canada or Vancouver kind of area. So
with summer festivals like Taste of Edmonton and K-Days, Edmontonians we spoke to say there's plenty to explore in our own backyard.
I would like to travel around Edmonton and just our area, because we have so much to see and there's so much to offer, so you may as well check it out while you can.
Phenomenal. It's lots of festivals and activities. Yeah, it's a great place to be.
Nav Sanga, CTV News, Edmonton.
Mark markets, the TSX rose by 122 points, while the Dow Jones went up 208 points. The Canadian dollar, it went down more than 0.3 cents to 72.96 cents U.S. Commodity front, gold down $31.39. It has dropped a lot this week. West Texas Intermediate crude down 87 cents, while Western Canadian Select crude was up 50 cents. And gas in Regina right now is commonly found for $1.30.9 cents per liter.
Hello there. Toronto's composite stock index hit another record high today, with investors apparently undismayed by another trade threat from U.S. President Donald Trump. Trump said he might just abandon trade negotiations with Ottawa and leave import levies in place. We haven't really had a lot of luck with Canada, the president said. I think Canada could be one where they'll just pay tariffs, not really a negotiation. Trump has imposed steep new levies on imports of Canadian steel and aluminum. Stocks helping to lift the TSX today included Shopify and Royal Bank. But Tech Resources slid again amid disappointment over glitches at a giant copper mine in Chile. U.S. stocks also hit a new record, but investor optimism could be tested next week when Meta, Apple, and Amazon report results that may be hurt by Trump's trade war. Meta, for example, is seen as vulnerable to an ad spending pullback by large Chinese advertisers. Those are your business headlines. I'm Andrew Bell of BNN Bloomberg.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, Celebrity Jeopardy, followed by Fear Thy Neighbor, The Big Bang Theory, and then E-Talk, and then we've got your national news and local news with Sierra. Sousa Butts will be in the cast tonight. Adam Sandler is returning back to his happy place in a sequel to Happy Gilmore, a cult classic movie from the 1990s.
My name is Happy Gilmore. 30 years ago, I decided to give golf a try. But even when you're at the top of your game, you can always shank one.
Happy Gilmore sucks?
Oh, eat a bag of... Breaking in yet another caddy.
Well, Happy Gilmore 2 is now streaming on Netflix 30 years after the original movie hit the big screen. The movie is most of the original stars back, including some professional golfers and other big names like Eminem and Travis Kelce. And speaking of another nostalgic film, it's about to get freakier.
Oh, that's interesting. Your lifelines. It's like they've intersected before. You've walked in each other's path.
Freakier Friday celebrated its world premiere in L.A. The movie stars Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis, who will switch again, but not with themselves. Freakier Friday is out in theaters August the 8th.
Could you imagine if that was actually a thing and that happened? Should we switch places, Lee?
Yeah, that would be weird. But a lot of nostalgia in those movies that are coming out. Should be interesting to see how good those movies do. So have a good weekend, everyone, and happy birthday, Remy. It's your weekend.
Aww.